Un aplauso, México! There's moments in a lifetime that give us all a lifeline and give us strength to walk a lane. You are the grace inside of me. You are the face that's with me. How can I not feel so blessed? In a time when I am moving on, you'll always be my home. Open my eyes, I know you're in front of me. Open my heart, I know you're with me. And through my life, I know you're beside me. I will never be alone. And through the storm, I know you hold me. I felt the hand of love, it touched me. And in everything you do, you change my world. I will never be alone. I will never be alone. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chris Martin. Days will shine more brightly. Days don't seem so empty. Now I understand it's all a journey. I feel this now united, never to be divided. You are a peace inside of me. Open my eyes, I know you're in front of me. Open my heart, I know you're with me. And through my mind, I know you're inside of me. I will never be alone. And through the storm, I know you hold me. I felt the hand of love, it touched me. And in everything you do, you change my world. I will never be alone. I will never be alone. Open my eyes, I know you're in front of me. Open my mind, I know you're with me. And through my life, I know you're beside me. I will never be alone. And through the storm, I know you hold me. I felt the hand of love, it touched me. And in everything you do, you change my world. I will never be alone. Sing it one more time. I will never be alone. I will never be alone. Muchas gracias.
Oh, am I going first? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to? Yeah,
Introduce us, please, Stephanie.
You got to introduce us, Steph.
Hi,
Come
welcome
on.
back to the Lab Sessions, Anything Goes Happy Hour, live from São Paulo, Brazil. And we're very excited to welcome Emmanuel Kelly to our show. Emmanuel,
Yes.
thank you
What's
for
up,
Special
guys?
guest. Please introduce yourselves, Emmanuel.
Yes.
Yeah. So good to be here. I'm not in Sao Paulo. I'm in Utah, of all places. I love it. I'm so happy to be chatting to you guys in Sao Paulo. We were just talking previously to this, just before getting on this chat, about how beautiful and amazing Brazil is, and people in Brazil are so beautiful and incredible, and that Stephanie is an inaugural Brazilian now.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, absolutely.
I'll take that.
Ceremonial.
So what were you doing in Brazil when you came here?
I was actually in Brazil because of my brother. My brother's an incredible Olympian, Paralympian, and he's a gold medalist and two-time world record holder. So we were actually there for the Paralympic Games and the Olympics where he was competing. And unfortunately, we were done by the Chinese, but my brother forgives them. And he's coming back for vengeance in 2021.
Nice.
Hopefully, man. We'll be supporting.
If he doesn't come back for vengeance, I will. So either way, one of us, the Kelly brothers, will be on it.
Nice.
That's quite a duo, man. The Kelly brothers. Intimidating bunch, man.
Hey.
So, when you were here in Brazil, were you turned on to any great Brazilian musicians or singers? Or can you tell us if you listen to anybody from Brazil?
I didn't enough, unfortunately, but there is a young singer that I'm in love with right now who is Brazilian. She's a TikTok star, Gabby B, she's a friend of mine, and she's actually in a new music video that we just released. Gabby B, I don't know if you guys have heard of her, but she's amazing, stunning voice. And then you guys kind of like it's not fully reggaeton, but it's like a mix of reggaeton and kind of like this, I don't know, your music's really cool. It's really unique. And I do.
The funk music, you
mean?
mean?
Yeah, the funk, the Brazilian funk.
Yeah.
Like Anita really, and things like this.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of I really like listening to it. And it was funny, I don't know the artists, unfortunately, but I was listening to, when I was there, I was listening to a few songs, and I turned around to a producer friend of mine who's probably going to work on my album after this, and I said to him, dude, we're adding some Brazilian fling to my next album, some Middle Eastern Brazilian fling. And he goes, yeah, my friend, I love it. I'm like, thanks, man.
That's nice, man.
Well, maybe you'll have to come down and record something of that.
Hopefully, man.
I think so. There is a big Brazilian artist who's massive. It's a guy.
There's Seu Jorge, maybe.
Name me some artists over there, because I might.
The biggest ones right now, currently, we can say Anita. She's very
Anita,
big.
I've heard of. Yeah.
Yeah. Seu Jorge, which he appeared in that movie, City of God, and he's very famous. And also we have. I just forgot the name now.
Wasn't there a Brazilian artists or Brazilian music in the Fast and Furious, one of the Fast and Furious films?
I
think it was.
I don't remember. The other famous one would be Pablo Vittar.
Oh, there you
go. No. Is that a Brazilian song?
I don't think it is. I may be mistaken. I'm sorry.
Or is it Spanish? Maybe it was Spanish.
It might be Spanish.
I think it's Spanish. Yeah, it's a very famous song. Yeah.
Okay.
It's South American. It's South American.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Good job, man. So look, speaking of music, I would like to ask you about your musical process in composing songs. So if you could, please talk a little bit about your single "Never Alone," how you composed it, what inspired you, maybe.
Yeah, no. So, I whenever I write, it's always, some people go into a studio and say, okay, we got to write some hits and then, write some radio songs and things like that. For me, it was never about that. I always, whenever I go in and write a song, it's always about, I want to create a song that relates and impacts people as much as it impacts me, and gives them an insight on my journey and what's happening in my head. And on top of that, also kind of in a way gives them enough relatability to their own lives that it gives them a slight insight on what's happening in their hearts and their heads. So it's always kind of, I love writing anthem type songs that people can also sing along to. Whether it becomes a hit or not, it doesn't faze me, as long as people, when they hear it, can sing to it. And so, I wrote a part of Never Alone when I was 11 years old.
Nice.
And I wrote the music of Never Alone when I was at 11, and I remember creating the melody and all that sort of stuff. And after an experience that my mum had of losing a child, not her own personal child, it was a child that so my mum brings out children from around the world for surgery, and she brought out this child for surgery. His name was Edis, and she brought him out to Australia for surgery, and he was there. It was open heart surgery, and unfortunately, when his surgeries were done and he was all ready to go home, about a year and a half, 2 years later, something really unfortunate happened, and that was that 24 hours before he was going to go home, he collapsed. He collapsed. No one could explain why and how he collapsed, but he just did. We rushed him to the hospital. 24 hours after his collapse, he died. No one could explain why, how, and why, why this happened, but it did. And Mum, in that time, kind of took a step back, because it was the first child that she had ever brought out to Australia that had died on her. And she'd lost plenty of kids prior to that, sadly, but this was the child that she felt, him being in Australia, she can control it. She can control what would happen to him. She brought him to Australia. She knows the doctors, the surgeons, the hospital he was at. Like, this should have been something that she could control. And she had to come to realization that there are so many things in our lives that are just outside our control, and we don't have that ability to control that. And so because she came to that realization, she was ready to give up and walk away from everything that she was doing. And if she did that, then that means my brother and I, we may have to go back to Iraq, and you and I may not be having this conversation. Stephanie and Victor, we may not be having this conversation today, and your listeners may not be listening to this conversation today. But then something miraculous happened, and we can't explain it, whether it was God or an angel or a spirit or energy or whatever people believe in. But Mum felt something, and this something almost felt like it almost transcended into being a voice inside her head that said, "You're not alone." And, people listen to that and say, "A voice? Oh, is she crazy?" No, it was just this beautiful feeling of peace and love that just surrounded her and grabbed her and just whispered, "You're not alone. Keep fighting. You're not alone. You need to be, you need to fight on." And then it evaporated. And then when it did, one of the biggest storms in the world, not in the world, in Melbourne had hit. And it was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was the biggest storm in over, I think, 50 years or something that Melbourne had in so long, as though the heavens or the universe was crying about this moment. And it was really powerful. And so, I wrote these lyrics kind of when I came home, and I was 11. So for me to write lyrics like this is unheard of. So maybe something took over me, I don't know. But I wrote, "There are moments in a lifetime that give us all a lifeline and give us strength to walk alone," right? And the original lyrics was, "Give us strength to walk." It was a different line. It was to walk this path or something like that. And I changed it when I was rewriting, kind of configuring the song about a year and a half ago to be more relatable, like I said, to everyone else. And then we wrote the chorus, and it ended in a certain way. And the ending was just, "I will never be alone." And that was just that's how it would, every chorus would end. And then I'm like, I have an amazing partner, it's a mentor. It's Chris Martin from Coldplay, which, we'll talk about more later on. And, I pitched him the song, and he goes, "Yeah, it's not quite there. You got to put more into it." And I'm like, "All right, no worries." So I did. I walked away. I started to try and work with it and trying to add more impact to it. And I just couldn't figure it out, and I couldn't figure it out. And this was the first song I'd started. Chris had given me 1 month to complete write 16 songs, record 16 songs, 1 month, which is unheard of. No one does that, right? But he said, if there's anyone that can do it, it's you, Emmanuel. Considering where you're from, where you know, I'm originally from Iraq. I was found in a boxing park in Iraq by some soldiers. And I've seen some of the worst of mankind, executions, all that sort of stuff, raised in this war zone. And, you know, he said, you've seen some of the worst. You've overcome hurdles of learning how to walk, learning how to use a knife and fork. It's those things. If there's anything you can do, it's 16 songs in 1 month. Write them and record them. I'm like, all right.
Where was the recordings?
In LA at the time. It was in LA. Yeah, it was in LA. And so, you know, Never Alone was the first one. And, you know, I'm about a week in and I'm thinking, oh, man, I'm never going to get this in time. I can't figure it out. I couldn't figure it out. And suddenly something hit me one night. I was in bed and I never wake up at 3 a.m. to go to the bathroom. That just never happens, right? But I got up at 3 a.m. at night or 3:30 a.m. and I went to the bathroom. And I'm sitting there and I'm doing my thing and suddenly and I'm just going, I quickly jumped on my butt. And I'm like, oh, wait, I think I just got it. Please, God, remember. Please don't be just in a sleepy daze and I'm not going to remember. And I did. I remembered what to do. And I literally grabbed my phone and I'm there and I grabbed my phone and I'm stretching across and grabbed it to turn the recorder. And I'm like, I will never be alone. Oh, 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 oh. And I'm like, that's it. That's where, you know, and I got so excited I couldn't sleep. I finished writing and finishing the song out, and because I got the hook, I finished finishing the song, and then bang, I was on the next song, right? And that was When We, which was the first time I'd ever seen suffering and execution in Australia, in Iraq, and I'm thinking to myself, I got this, so I'm writing When We, you know, I'm writing the lyrics to that, and it was amazing, and I'm thinking, roll here, and I write the next song, which,
nice, man.
You know, and I write the next song. And
no writer's block from your part then, yeah? It was
crazy.
Inspiration all day, every day.
By 10 a.m. I had 4 songs written. 4 songs written, sent them off, and the responses from Chris and everyone else on the team were, holy shoot, I'm going to say, because there's other people watching this, I'm sure, kids, and I literally said, holy shoot, I think I got it. And they all looked at me and go, yeah, these are something.
My God. So Never Alone was your first one, right?
Never Alone has always been my first song I've ever written.
Well, let's
listen to Never Alone now, and later we'll talk more about it, because this has been a very interesting conversation. Now, yes. Never Alone.
Hey there. Whenever I feel alone, I immediately always look to my 2 dogs, Batman and Cinderella, and I cuddle with them until I fall asleep, because I feel lonely at night most of the time, but they always have my back and they're always there for me.
When I feel alone, I sometimes write down everything I'm grateful for, and then I try and find a patch of sky at night and look out at it.
I often seek solace in the company of my animals. The cats are very loving. The dogs in particular are good company. One of them is deaf. One of my dogs is deaf, and he's a very good listener. The other thing I've done at times when I've been alone is to remind myself that nothing lasts. So the sadness you feel for that period of solitude, that will end.
When I feel alone, I'll stand in front of the mirror like my father told me to, and remind myself that no matter what happens in this life, the only person that's going to always be there for me is that person in the mirror.
There's moments in a lifetime that give us all a lifeline and give us strength to walk a lane.
When I get lonely, I dance.
I connect with nature, always. And I do it in sort of a guided meditation form.
I'll write stuff down in my journal or write a poem about how I feel.
I surround myself with the people that are closest to me.
I pray to my angels in heaven, that are my grandparents.
I dream about making the impossible possible.
through my life, I know you're beside me. I won't ever be alone. And through the storm, I know you hold me. I felt the hand of love that touched me. And in everything you do, you change my world. I will never be alone.
I always like to think about the people who loves me and cares about me.
I remind myself that it's just what's happening in this moment and all moments pass.
We seek out each other's company, and that makes it all better.
When I feel alone, I always try to remember that home is within.
I meditate to gain strength again.
Pick up my guitar and write music.
Also like to reach out to people who I love and who I know love me, my friends.
It's okay to feel this way. We all feel it because we all want love. We all want to be heard.
The days will shine more brightly. The days don't seem so empty. Now I understand it's all a journey. I feel it's now united, never to be divided. You are a piece inside of me. Open my eyes, I know you're in front of me. Open my mind, I know you're with me. And through my life, I know you're beside me. I will never be alone.
When I feel alone, I turn to my faith.
I turned inward. I started talking to God.
I self-reflect and write down all the things on my mind.
Scoop up my honey and dance with her.
You change my world. I will never be alone. I will never be alone.
When I feel alone, I start to sing.
I think it's always good to write down your thoughts, what you're going through, what you're feeling.
I play some music, I write.
When I'm lonely, I usually call my family or friends.
I love to get in the car and drive to get lost.
I either watch YouTube, watch TikToks.
When I'm alone, I like to train, so I was able to create a relationship with my body.
I go to the best place that makes me feel that I'm flying. To the gym.
I like to write down powerful words such as affirmations that make me feel incredible about myself.
To feel that you are a human being.
And even though I feel lonely, I'm never alone.
We're never alone because all things are one.
Sometimes when I'm feeling alone, I just try to pour it out on paper, go to the guitar, go to the piano, and try and get something creative out of it. But I think an even better idea for me, for most people, I think, is to go find somebody who loves you. We've all got people who love us, and open up, share, let people in.
Hey everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the video because Teddy here loved it. This is when the hashtag Never Alone Challenge begins. What we would like you to do, if you feel comfortable, is to creatively express what you do when you feel sad and alone. How do you find a way out of the darkness? How do you find a way to get happy again? We then ask you to post a video that's no longer than 20 seconds or take a photo of what you do to get happy or what makes you happy, and then post that online, hashtagging Never Alone Challenge. This is designed to be a place for people to go to also be inspired to find examples and ways that they can feel happiest in times of when they feel most alone. We're excited to get your videos. We're excited to see what you all come up with. Thank you. Take it easy. Sending lots of love. Bye.
So I have 5 seconds and we can see. So you will roll us back, Stephanie.
Okay, well, that was amazing. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Let's go on. We're curious, since you're talking so much about these famous people you seem to sing so much with, or that they get to sing with you. I don't know how that goes. which musician that has a lot of notoriety has kind of been your favorite to play with or given you the most?
Oh, come on. You can't ask me
Oh,
that.
yes, we can.
That doesn't have to be singular. It can be your favorites, maybe.
Or yes, you can ask us.
Just give us some insight, man. Come on.
That's right.
People gotta know.
You know,
People gotta know.
I've been very fortunate to. I'm going to give you a politician's answer, diplomat, and then I'm going to give you the truth. Yeah. So,
Please.
so the politician's answer is, you know, and not Trump's answer, because if it was Trump, I'd be going, you know, no.
Yeah, it's fake news.
I'd have to do a face and everything. No. But politician's answer is, you know what? Every artist is unique in their own way, and I loved everyone that I've worked with. The truth is, I have loved everyone that I have worked with. And I've worked with some amazing people. I think, though, the one that's really kind of been, ever since I was a child, this band I've looked up to in a big way. And that's Coldplay. You know, one of my first songs I ever learned as a kid and as a teenager was Yellow by Coldplay. You know, and they've inspired me, and I listened to them as kids. I mean, there was 3 artists that I listened to constantly: Andrea Bocelli, Coldplay, and I listened to a ton of Beatles. Right, so you know, Beatles, not all of them are around, so that's out of the box. Can't make that happen. And Andrea Bocelli, I've always dreamed to work with him, but haven't yet, and I'm sure I will one day. But Coldplay, I've managed to, and that's been quite incredible. And then, you know, I was fortunate that Demi Lovato was in the music video. I haven't had the pleasure yet to work with her, but there's a good chance that that'll happen very, very soon. And I think that could be around the corner. So Demi, I'm coming for you.
Nice.
But you know, I think there's, you know, I've been very fortunate to work with multiple artists, from David Foster to Coldplay to, you know, sit down with Pharrell and Quincy Jones and people like that as well. You know, and it's been incredible. But definitely Coldplay has been my been I guess the favorite, as you would call it. You know, they've been.
It's interesting you mentioned your influences, because I think your voice tone is very peculiar, it's very particular, especially for Never Alone. Did you develop this? Like, how was the process of you finding your voice, your singing voice? Obviously, it's a little bit different than your speaking voice. So maybe you can elaborate on what influenced you. How did you go through this path? You know.
Put it this way, vocal coaches cannot stand the way when I speak, because I speak from the throat and I speak from the nose, the nasal cavity, so it's never ooh, you know, like it, and they get irritated because I in their eyes I sing the wrong way. But you know, maybe I do, but I love. And I used to not like the way I sound. I was trying to always sound like other people, but it took me a while. I had to just stick on the path. I listened to a lot of Coldplay, and I listened to a lot of Maroon 5, even as a boy, and I would, in a way, mimic their voices and sounds. And then one day I kind of stepped aside and I said, I'm not mimicking anyone anymore. I'm going to just sing and see what it sounds like. And I think I kind of picked up both their sides a little bit. I listened to a lot of Seal, and I kind of picked up the funk of Seal and the sound of Coldplay, and kind of just created my own tone in that sense. And the tone that I felt was who I was, and that is what you heard in Never Alone. It's that, you know, so there is not really a specific way that I think you can create the tone that you want. I think it's more just developing a strength in your voice and then just allowing the tone to create itself.
Exactly.
And often enough, you'll end up, without even realizing, subconsciously and subtly picking up the tones of artists that you aspire to anyway, you know, and which will allow you, with that mix and the mix of your own voice, which is what I have, you know, with that mix, you kind of create this beautiful kind of unique tone. And often enough, I think artists are too obsessed and too focused on trying to be proper with their voices, which is fine, don't get me wrong, but proper, and instead of allowing their tones to develop on their own and embracing the uniqueness, and then once they've done that, to then at that point strengthen it in a proper way to create it. And I vocal coaches are something, they're amazing, but
Yeah.
I don't think you can really teach someone tone. You can teach them how to sing, but you can't teach them their tone. They have to
Exactly.
from
And
that.
it's nice you mentioned this. I agree with you wholeheartedly. And this is a natural process. And I'm really happy that you have this platform to really express that, because this is something that, a lot of singers really need to understand. It's not just there's one way to sing. There's this
No.
projection type of format. There's many ways to sing it. And most of the times it comes naturally to us. So
Yeah.
very well spoken, man. That was
Thanks,
nice.
man. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And
Um,
sorry. I just want to have another question, a quick question
yeah.
actually,
Ask away.
because we were talking about the famous artists. Has there been any artist or famous singer, musician that you met that has surprised you? And if so, could you please elaborate a little
You
bit?
know what? Paris, she's this next artist is I think she's one heck of a DJ. Personally, I was very surprised. But that's Paris Hilton. I was really
Wow, that is surprising.
yeah, I was incredibly surprised, actually. If there's anyone that I have been surprised with, I mean, artists are artists, so they're going to surprise you in their own right. But then when you meet someone that you don't expect to be an artist per se, and they surprise you because they're actually quite good, that kind of catches me off guard. And that was Paris Hilton. I got to see her DJ, at a club one night, and after, and it was a friend of mine's birthday who's really close with her, and so she came out to DJ for him, and I got to hang out with her afterwards, and we got to chat for 20 minutes or so, and we're just chilling in the back room at a house, and we were chatting away, and she was talking to me about space and about
Wow.
just the most just random things that I didn't expect. But then when I actually listened to her DJ, I turned around to my friend and I said, she's really good. I mean, I didn't think she'd be bad, but I didn't think that we would be as good as I did. She exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, it's not the moniker she portrays.
No,
Basically, yeah.
and don't get me wrong. I've heard she was good. I've never heard negative things about her. I just didn't expect her to be as better than my expectation, and that kind of surprised me. So no, yeah, absolutely.
That is amazing, man. So look, I love this conversation with voice and the people you met, and also you mentioned that you recorded so many songs, and I was thinking maybe you have this song Red Love. It's not really. Is it out yet or no?
It's not out right now.
It's
The
not
only
out.
thing
Yeah.
that's out is Never Alone, and it only came out 2 weeks ago. Never Alone, so it's a brand new song. And I might give you if that's all right with you, I might give you a quick snippet of Red Love, and maybe
Please do, man.
like a medley into Never Alone or something. So might finish off.
Yeah, good. Please display your beautiful vocal tone, man.
Yeah. This song, by the way, Red Love. I after X Factor and after touring and all that sort of stuff, I went through a very dark period in my life. I started believing a lot of what people were saying because I've got a disability, or because I'm different, or because I'm Middle Eastern, I'll never make this industry. And I started believing that, and I started to lose a lot of self-love for myself. And I started to kind of go down this dark path and get depressed, not from a clinical sense, but just get depressed in my mind. And I suffered a lot, and my anxiety levels jumped, and I started feeling pretty crappy about myself. Most of all, I started feeling self-loathing for myself, and it was really it was just, and I started doing drugs and abusing my body and my mind. And this song kind of is about that story. Every song on my album is a story in my life, and this song is kind of about that story, and then finding a way out, and regardless of those obstacles, still finding a way out. So here it is.
And through the storm, I know you hold me.
Staring at the night sky, missing what we used to have. I got money, fame, that's life. Really, I just miss you. But I know I lost your heart. Actually, can I do something? I just
Yeah.
realized we're on Zoom, you're recording this. I can play the music through here.
Oh my God! You'll give us
That's great.
a
Yes.
preview.
Yeah. Let me actually sing to music.
Okay. Yes, please. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Let me.
Hey, is that button love? Is that what
It
that
is.
button is?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love
Okay. Good
button.
job, man.
Yeah, love button. All right, here we go. Next one. Okay, this should work. Give me a second. I just realized I'm gonna have to sing it a cappella. Red love. Can you hear that?
Yes, we
Yeah.
can.
Can I sway to it?
Yeah, is the
Can I?
volume okay on that, or is it too
Um.
quiet, or is it too loud?
You
Well,
can
it's
put
up
a
to
little bit
you
louder.
for your
A little
voice
louder.
too. So it's up to you.
No, it's fine. I'd rather go loud. How much do you want to tell me?
So now let's sneak peek at Red Love.
Let's do it. Is that good? Volume wise, or a little bit louder?
A little bit louder,
Perfect,
I think,
man.
is good. I don't know.
Staring at the night sky, missing what we used to have. I got money fading fast, life really, I just miss your laugh. And I know I lost your heart. And I can't accept you're gone. That feeling was a red love, red love. We had a fire burning. That feeling was a red love, red love. We had a fire burning. You can keep me warm, oh, oh. You can keep me warm, oh, oh. That feeling was a red love, red love. We had a fire burning. I'm trying to move forward, but I keep taking 2 steps back. I'm using and abusing, trying to capture what we had. And I'm starting to accept you're gone. And I can admit that I'm wrong. That feeling was a red love, red love. We had a fire burning. That feeling was a red love, red love. We had a fire burning. And you can keep me warm, oh, oh. You can keep me warm, oh, oh. That feeling was a red love, red love. We had a fire burning. Is that fire burning, burning? Can we start it up again, up again? Is that fire burning, burning? Can we start it up again, up again? Is that fire burning, burning? Can we start it up again, up again? Is that fire burning, burning? Can we start it up again, up again? The feeling was a red love, red love. Yeah, the fire burning. That feeling was a red love, red love. Yeah, the fire's burning. Give me warm, oh, oh. You can give me warm, oh, oh. The feeling was a red love, red love. Fire's burning.
Nice, man.
Thank you. Thank
I do
you.
the
Very
clap.
nice, man. I've heard before, of course, Never Alone, but this one is really great, man. Congratulations.
Really nice.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I,
Thank
I
you.
love how you really, well, you're a musician, right? And musicians, we use music to really communicate our feelings and our emotions, and it is a very healing, it can be at least a very healing process. And it's great to have you here and really tell us about this firsthand. And man, I'm really happy that we have you here. We had you here for the lab sessions, Alert the Globe, Anything Goes happy hour. And if we can finish this off, maybe do you have a message for the people of Brazil? Maybe also upcoming plans after this whole crisis. We go to a normal life. Do you have any shows, any plans for this year
Yeah,
also?
I think, I'll start with kind of that element and then I'll share a message. But yeah, no, we do. I mean, right now it's our focus to just push this song as much as we can and kind of hopefully allow it to impact as many lives as possible. We do plan on doing a tour. Probably not in 2021. We were planning for 2021, but unfortunately because of COVID-19, a lot of things are probably not going to start up till June, maybe April next year. So, we probably won't be doing a tour until 2022. But in that span, we are planning on doing an online tour, which is kind of unusual, which is kind of cool, where we'll only stream in Brazil one day, and then the next day we'll stream only in the US, and the next day we'll stream in other parts of the world. So yeah, we're planning on doing that. We've got a potential other awesome opportunities that I can't actually quite share just yet, but I can share that on, if people are able to, on the 5th of May, or 4th of May actually, Chris Martin and Coldplay will be doing a live Instagram, and I'll be joining that Instagram towards the end to talk a little bit about the song. And then the next for Global Citizens, hashtag together at home, which is their movement that they're doing. And then the next day I'll be doing my own Together at Home, where I'll actually be doing an online concert. I'll be singing a lot of my songs that are unheard just yet off the album, unreleased, obviously, covers, and kind of just sharing a little bit about a little bit of me and sharing a little bit of my vulnerability, to the point where I stink because I'm showering, but I'm just no deodorant or anything. We're just chill. But also to the point of maybe also sharing of, my struggles over the last, during COVID-19, and some of the things that I've had to experience and figure out, so we will be doing that on May 4th. So make sure anyone that's listening to this, if they listen to this prior to that, make sure you tune in on May 4th. That's definitely coming up. And then Red Love will be released later in the year as well.
Yeah, we'll have your Instagram, social media information, so people will follow you, and they will absolutely follow this whole May 4th and following you.
And we may be, and if you guys are following as well, for those of you that are following, we haven't confirmed it yet, but we may be doing a Mother's Day, our Mother's Day special as well, for dedicated to Mother's Day content. Hopefully have some of my friends and guests that will be appearing on that to show their support towards Mum as well. So we may be doing something like that in the next couple of weeks. So.
Excellent.
Good job, man. Do you got a message for Brazilian people following you?
I do. Yeah. I wanna just give a message to. So this message is not just to Brazilians, but it is tailored and specifically to Brazilians. The Western world, being America and Australia and England and places like that, they're suffering, right, and their struggles. But I think this whole COVID-19 epidemic has done one thing for the world, and I hope it has, and that's create relatability to the people of Brazil. A lot of people don't realize Brazil, people of Brazil suffer just as much as everyone else, if not more. And I know that the people in Brazil suffer every day with poverty and people barely struggling to feed themselves and things like that. So I send the message to the Brazilians: you're not alone. I love you, and if there is anything in the near future that I can do to support you and just be there for you, I will be. I love you. You guys are amazing. I love the people. I love your energy. I love your food, and I love Brazil. How do I say?
Nice.
Oh, hang on. I want to say it in Brazilian. How do I say I love? I want to
Okay,
say it
that's
in
you,
Portuguese.
Victor.
How do I say I love Brazil in Portuguese?
Eu amo o Brasil.
Eu amo
Amo.
Brasil. Eu
Yeah,
amo
repeat it.
Brasil. So Brazil, I love you. Amo Brasil.
There you go.
E nós amamos você também. Very nice, man.
And you're not alone.
Yeah.
Love
No, we're
yourself
not.
as well.
Never alone, never alone.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. This has been an absolute pleasure for us to have you on the show. And so nice for you to share one of your songs with us as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's very much a pleasure for us.
Yeah. It's been an absolute pleasure for me as well. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you, man. So this has been the end of our episode today, and we'll see each other next week. Remember, please follow Emmanuel Kelly. This guy is amazing, beautiful voice
Check out the new song.
Yes,
absolutely.
And
have a nice one, guys.
And visit us, the Lab Sessions, and Anything Goes happy hours on Thursdays, 1 p.m. California time, 1700, 5 p.m. in Brazil.
That's it.
Absolutely.
And thanks to Alert the Globe as well. You guys are awesome.